Saturn and its symbolism can often lend to reality checks, sobering truths, and a sense of realism that is unmatched by any other archetype or energy in the zodiac. And this is why this planet is known for its longevity. Anything that Saturn influences will last a long time to come, simply because of the fact that it is rooted in reality. I'm Kian the One. One with the sun. Today the sun shines at 7 degrees Pisces. The dreamer, the believer, the one who flows with the infinite waves and cosmic oceans of life. And under today's sky, we had a very important celestial event, which was the conjunction of Mercury and Saturn in the sky in the sign of Pisces. Now, Pisces being the sign that rules dreams, visions, fantasies, spirituality. When Mercury, aka the mind, and Saturn, which is structure, discipline, and longevity, meet together in the sky at 0 degrees conjunction, well, we're going to get very serious and very honest with ourselves very quickly. This conjunction happened earlier today. It perfected around 4 in the morning in the sign of Pisces. And it definitely brought to me some very interesting realizations, some very potent, powerful realizations. One of the things that it showed me was actually in regards to what I'm doing here with social media. I kind of felt like I went a little bit off path when it came to these kinds of videos. And it was a very nice readjustment. If this energy, you have been utilizing it all the way to the buildup of this energy, then, I mentioned this before, but I will say it here, then it'll simply be a readjustment. And in this readjustment, you will know exactly what needs to be done because you have reality on your side. But if you haven't been paying attention, if you've allowed your mind to just wander off into different paths, well, this energy certainly has the ability to bring reality to the forefront of our thoughts. Now, being that it is in a sign representing quite possibly an alternate dimension, because when you think about imagination, for example, that's an alternate dimension. You know, it's not physical. It is within our mind. The imagination and the subtle worlds. Okay, these are the worlds beyond this world. These are what Pisces inherently rules over, especially the spiritual world. So it could have been a good day for getting real with ourselves when it comes to our dreams. And I certainly did. Because for me, in a very personal way, I was thinking about these live streams. I was like, well, each and every day, this is meant to be an astrology vlog wherein I talk about how the stars are impacting me and give advice and tips for my viewers and people who are watching. And I found myself going towards actually like making these standalone videos and like having like a topic, making it super educational, informative, which is great under this kind of energy. But I was like, well, if I want to grow this channel, I have to put out YouTube videos, like actual horizontal videos. Whereas here, we are coming here together under a vertical live stream setting. And because of this, I was able to make some readjustments. Now, this energy is playing very nicely and harmoniously with my natal Mercury, which is in Scorpio. And Mercury, to be honest, doesn't really like water signs because Mercury is very cerebral and it is about cold, hard facts. And being that Mercury is in the sign of Pisces and in the sign of Scorpio for me natally, it was kind of this like intuitive understanding of what needs to be done. And even last night, I was like making some readjustments. I was like, you know what? Instead of one short a day, we are going to do 2 shorts a day. Shout out to everybody who is joining. Shout out to Arc Omen, Yano, who's in Aries, and D. Reyes. She says, oh shit, the wizard. I try, you know. Sun is in Pisces after all. That is like the ultimate wizardry. Shout out to Yano, who's in Aries, in the chat. You know, you got your birthday coming up. And yeah, this is actually cool too. Another thought came in, and that was I was originally doing these live streams to interact with people in real time regarding astrology. And so Aries, this is interesting. This is happening in your 12th house, and Saturn is transiting your 12th house. I think, yeah, I like this transit for you. It's very spiritual. You might feel a little bit more isolated than usual from people, from being your best and brightest Aries warrior spirit. I love Aries energy. I recently met somebody who was an Aries, and she embodied such warrior energy. And when I say masculine energy too, I don't mean it in a bad way, but you know, Aries can be very direct and just go for what they want. They're not really thinking about the consequences, which is why Aries is the sign of war, the modern day ruler of Mars. So back to what I was originally saying. Kian with the keys. The cap is looking dope. Appreciate it. Arc Omen says you look way better without the hat. And this is what I got to say to that. I think this is a good topic. You know, I've been thinking about this hat, and one, I do want to say I made it. Like I made this hat. This didn't come like this. I was like, I made this hat. This hat originally started as an idea wherein I was like, you know what would be sick? If I had like this cap or headband, maybe a little thinner than this, wherein all 12 zodiac signs were around the cap. And I was just like, oh, that'd be really cool. But it was actually pretty hard to find and get all those materials together. And so the sun is the central luminary in astrology. So I was like, you know what? What about the sun? What about finding some sort of alchemical depiction of the sun? And as I said, a lot of people identify with their sun sign in astrology. So, you know, all these little ideas trickled in, and it was just like, oh, one with the sun. I'm Kian the one with the sun. And yeah, and I do want to say, as I evolve, so too will the hat. And I look at it more as a crown than I do a hat. And I'm sure sometime in the future I will recreate it into something else, but I've definitely thought about the hat, and there has been mixed reviews. Like some people absolutely love it. Some people are like, you know, I don't know, maybe you look better without the hat. And you know what I did with that? I incorporated a ritual into this. So whenever I open my videos, no hat. But when we get into the nitty-gritty of the video, then I put on the hat as my own personal form of ritual of embodying what I like to call solar consciousness, which is, simply put, presence. To be and embody solar consciousness is to always be aware of the present moment. And when we think about the sun is ruled by Leo, which when we think about the archetype of Leo, Leo is the inner child, okay? It is the part of us that inherently wishes to express itself without any inhibition or anybody telling it not to. It is literally an energy of, I am worthy to shine my light, the sun, and it is worthy of being seen, felt, and heard. So the hat is a part of and an extension of my expression and my inner child. And again, I'm looking forward to, one, wearing it for now, and two, to be able to experiment with it in the future. Maybe something cooler, but this was a do-it-yourself type of project, if you know. And sun is exalted in Aries, okay? And why is it exalted in Aries? Meaning the best and brightest qualities of the sun are exhibited in Aries. So shout out to all my Aries fam out there. And the reason for that is Aries is the god of war. It is willing to live and die for what it wants. Now, it's a little extreme, okay? Whereas Leo energy is like, oh, let me shine my light and, I'm worthy of being seen. Maybe if they don't get attention, they'll throw a fit. Same thing with all fire signs, actually, though. But Aries will make it known if you don't acknowledge its light that is here to share with the world. So Mercury is pretty active this week. And I told you guys earlier how it manifested for me personally. It was a serious adjustment when it came to my ideas and what I'm putting out into the world, because Saturn is a planet that rules social responsibility. So for the people who are watching this kind of energy, like I said, is great for readjustment, for plans, like getting serious with some things. Maybe you might receive some news wherein you might have to make some sort of readjustment. And if you've already been on the path of discipline, then this energy will actually benefit you, because you are able to see reality for what it is with this kind of energy, whereas Mercury and Pisces alone, that's very foggy. Like, you're not able to fully comprehend or grasp the details of the situation or have a very clear interaction with somebody else, because Pisces forms a square, a 90-degree angle of challenge to Gemini, which is the natural ruler of Mercury, and it opposes Virgo, 180-degree angle, which is another challenging aspect. They're essentially opposites, whereas Virgo loves the details and loves to crunch numbers and be a perfectionist. Pisces is the complete opposite. Doesn't worry about the details. It's like, all right, whatever will be, will be. Que sera, sera. And with energy like this, no, you're not going to let that whatever will be, will be. There's this reality, sobering moment that is staring you back at the face. And like I said, for me, it was personally regarding these live streams, because I do want to make it very personal And I do want to interact with fans more than come here and just give a report. But tell you guys how astrology is playing out in real time in my personal life. And also give advice to everybody watching regarding it. But the reports, the actual videos, the predictions, whether it is a month ahead, whether it's even financial astrology possibly. I think I'm going to do a financial astrology video for sure in June as Jupiter and Saturn square off. So relevant things, they're going to be more video oriented. And since this was forming a harmonious, supremely harmonious aspect to my own Mercury, it's like I'm in the right place at the right time, and my ideas will naturally flow with this voice that I'm cultivating, because this is happening in my third house, a voice of vehicles as well. You know, my family business, we have a used car dealership. And, you know, I was exchanging with my father today, hey, this is what we should do, this is what we should do. And it was a pretty serious conversation regarding that. So this was great energy to utilize for imaginations and visions and and dreams that you want to make very tangible and bring into reality. And it could have been a very minor adjustment, or it could have been a major one, depending on how this interacts with your chart personally, and also whether you have been respecting Saturn's influence. Now, I do want to say this. The planets correlate with what I am speaking about. On some level, they do cause this. It is causal, but it has to do with the hierarchy and what's known as the fractals of the universe, right? I believe that, and even Nikola Tesla says, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy and frequency, specifically frequency. If you are a musician or you play music, you know what an octave means, which is the higher vibration, sometimes double the vibration or frequency of that specific note. So if you have C here, an octave higher, 12 semitones or 12 semitones up, usually on the piano or any other instruments, is the octave. And in this octave, you're still at C, but you're vibrating at a higher frequency, literally measured in hertz. And I believe that the universe is one great symphony. Two, if we want to get very scientific and think of it through the lens of frequency, it is all octaves, right? It is all fractals, smaller representations of something larger. Now, our mind cannot possibly fathom this, especially with Mercury in Pisces. You know, maybe we can imagine it to be so. Or maybe Mercury and Saturn conjunct under a sky like this, maybe they're like, you're like, whoa, this shit is real. Like, the universe is so infinite, so unfathomable, yet there are rules and there's a hierarchy to all this. And so I feel like, and what I believe is, there are fractals, smaller representations or smaller reflections of something bigger, and this sphere, these octaves go on to infinity. Our human ears literally cannot hear anything beyond 20,000 hertz. It's like air after that. And that's really not the end of it. You know, we can only hear 30 or 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. But once we get to that, once we extend beyond or below that, we can't perceive it. We literally can't hear it. But that does not mean that those frequencies, those higher planes of existence, do not exist. Some Mercury, Saturn conjunction, food for thought. Anyways, Mercury is still pretty active this week. And on Thursday, it will sextile Uranus. And this is actually really good energy. This is actually like good news. So if you utilize this day, and of course, a day before and a day after, this energy is still present. But Mercury, since it is a fast-moving planet, you want to utilize it as quickly as possible. But if you choose to utilize this and you implement what you have received in short notice, you will have an opportunity to see the fruits thereof. And that is on Thursday, when Mercury sextiles Uranus. This represents good news, great ideas flowing. So you kind of structured your ideas today a little bit more. I know at least I did. And then implement these ideas, and then by Thursday, we might get some good news, or maybe even a lucky break. We will see. As soon as I said that, my ears started ringing. Do you guys ever have that? Your ears start to ring? Let's drop in the chat. Sohan, shout out to Sohan. You are writing in a language that I do not understand. Shout out to Bryson Andrews as well, joining me in the chat. So that is basically all I wanted to talk about, unless you guys have any specific questions. Again, these live streams are also about you. This is an opportunity for me to give live readings for new and current subscribers as well. And yeah, I've spoken regarding what I needed to speak about. I shall wait. And I'm going to see if there's any other thing. I want to create some like weird ass rituals, I swear to God. Like this thing. You guys ever seen this thing? This thing is called a conch shell. And essentially, this is a regular shell, but it is cut off here so that we can make a horn type sound with it. So I'm going to try my best, and I hope we'll see how it happens. Cool, right? And how you guys feeling about Mars direct? We are officially in forward motion. Now, with Mars being direct, it's going to take a little bit of time, okay, for us to get out of the sign of Cancer, where we'll see some forward momentum for show. And that day is actually going to be in April, specifically April 17th for people who are in the West Coast, and a little past midnight for my peeps in the West Coast. So if there are no other questions, I will be signing off. Thank you guys for joining me today. What did the sun reveal to you today? Let me know below. And make sure you guys have your notifications on so you never miss alive. And I hope you guys can join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in being one with the sun. I send you guys infinite love, and I wish you a prosperous week ahead, and I hope all your dreams come true. Get serious about it, guys. Now is the time. While Saturn is in Pisces, this is the time. With that said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Sending you guys so much love and gratitude. Take care.